Good evening, welcome to another episode of The Live. This time it is Sunday night and we do the Sunday night calling. Welcome one and all, hope you're all well. This is going to be a lively show, I believe, and I think we'll probably start it all off by going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls throughout the world, tuning in the red corner, fighting with the northern correspondent, Benjamin. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Looking forward to this one. It's been lively in the WhatsApp chat today. So, looking forward to this.
It has indeed. Fighting from the darkest depths of Medway, weighing in at 45 pounds. When wet, it is the one and only, I can't even think. The secret
Just introduce
squirrel.
Me, mate.
Stephen, are we ready
Hello.
Are we ready putting you and Ben to pretty much you're going to be against? Because I think the topics I'm going to be doing tonight, and yes, Spencer, I have already lost it. I think the topics we're going to be talking about tonight are going to be interesting, to say the least. And the thing is as well is that I reckon realistically we could go like this and
Oh, he's gone.
So he chucked a grenade in and left already.
Well, that's it. I mean, just for the benefit.
no, but you can still hear me, by the way. You can still hear me.
No, you'd gone, mate.
I was still there, trust me. Everybody else heard me, so yeah, Mons 2, all of that. Not far from me, blah, blah, blah. Right.
I felt a little bit like Spartacus in the chat earlier. I had everyone coming at me. It seems my opinion is wrong, apparently, which is fine. It's a debate. We'll get to it, but I'm sure Ben and I will do our best to
this afternoon's chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Just with our voices rather than frantically typing on WhatsApp and going through counts.
There was at one point where my fingers were on fire because I couldn't type quick because I was saying so much and I wanted to get it all out at the same time. So yeah,
and also you trying to send messages and you don't want someone to put a message in between yours. You want it to go in a list, so you're like, quick, get them all out. Yeah.
So we agree on some bits with Edward, which we'll come to. We'll come to him first, shall we? We believe.
There we go.
Well, listen. All right. What do you want to do? Do you want to talk about the game yesterday, or should we leave it for you boys to do a midweek? Maybe we can talk bits and pieces about the game. But I just think personally, the fans know what happened yesterday. Those who watched it know what happened. Those who went knew what happened. Those who are going to watch it back in the week are going to know what's happened. You guys are probably going to end up. Good evening, Monica. You guys are going to know.
He's brought his mum.
I know. That's it.
I've got backup.
Welcome to the group chat, Mrs. Bradshaw. But everyone knows what's what. We can go into talk about the game a bit later on if you want. But look, at the end of the day it wasn't a one-sided game. I think it wasn't a game where realistically we should have lost. It should have been a draw at most. I don't think we did enough to win it, but I think we didn't do enough. We didn't do enough wrong really to lose it. I think where we are now to where we were a couple of weeks, when he first come in, is you can see things what he wants to do. But that's where we are before saying too much, where we're going in to what we're going to talk about. I suppose we need a disclaimer first. This is a big boy show. There are going to be opinions what are going to upset people. There are going to be opinions what you won't agree with. That's why you've got the comments there. And also just to let you know that hopefully coming after Christmas, we will be introducing a WhatsApp channel or a WhatsApp number where you will be able to leave voice messages and and what else was I thinking? Voice messages, and you'll be able to phone into the show. So yeah, that will where we'll be going with it. So to you then, do you think that's? I mean, you boys, do you think that's the best way to go, or do you want to talk about? Fuck it, talk about the game first. Go on then, have your whinge about the game because I don't want to take that away from you. You do that again. Go on. You have your whinge about the game.
Go on, Steve. You go first. I think just on that, I think you've summed it up perfectly. To be honest, Mickey. So yeah, well done, that Stephen. Going over to you.
I just think, first of all, I can understand that Edwards has come out and said a couple of times after games that we're not getting the basics right. However, that to me isn't really good enough. And again, just to be clear, most of my opinions and most of my comments are not aimed at Joe Edwards as our head coach. I'm just going to put that out there. There is an issue that I do think he does have to address, and he's not, but we'll come to that. We can't pass the ball to each other, seemingly. We give the ball away so much in the game. Wes Harding, Campbell, Mitchell. I'm not saying that, in other games where Saville's done it and Cooper's done it. It doesn't matter who seems to be playing. And I know this is a bit of a jokey comment, but we played in bright orange yesterday, and we were struggling to pass the ball to each other. I know there's stats that say that we completed over 400 passes and this, that, and the other, but the amount of times we give the ball away is not good enough. That needs to be addressed first of all. And if Edwards is trying to implement a passing style of football, then we have a little bit of a problem because the players are simply not good enough to do it. Overall, probably didn't deserve to lose the game. We didn't play badly. I don't think it was a game you can definitely say we should have won, but they took their chance, a little bit of fortune and a mistake from the goalkeeper. We didn't take a couple of chances that we created. But ultimately, we're getting to a point now where we can come off and say that, we probably didn't deserve to lose and should have got something out of the game. And we're passing the ball better and having more of the ball. But we need to pick up some points. And it's just really, really frustrating that from a starting point that we give the ball away so much. You do that on Wednesday against Leicester. We did it against Ipswich. You get punished.
Yeah, in terms of the game yesterday, it was a very, very even game, wasn't it? And Edwards said in his post match that it was who was just going to take that one chance or who was going to make a mistake. And he'd spoken to the lads about that at half time. It was a game that lacked quality from both sides. Unfortunately, it wasn't us. The performance didn't warrant a defeat, so I agree with both of you there. My issue is that we need to also look at it and say Cardiff are sixth in the league. They are now. They have a good or decent home record. Yes, you could argue the game was there for the taking. We have to start picking up wins against those sides, but we are still very much in a team in transition. And I think we're now just actually realising probably how far we are away or how many players we are away from being a good side, and that we've probably been a bit spoiled over the last couple of years in overachieving.
I do agree. I think there was a comment that flashed up there about Rowett, wherever he's left, leaves a trail of shit everywhere he goes. Birmingham, Stoke, and now us. I understand.
Sorry, I completely forgot about the fucking comments. Sorry, I was looking at something earlier on eBay, and I've completely forgot that it ended, and I've fucking lost out on it. So yeah, I'm gutted now. But yeah, gone.
So yeah, and that may well be true, and there might be some noise around the fact that Rowett decided to leave at a time where we were in perhaps a sinking ship.
Just to jump in on that, Stephen, is that true? Because he got outed at Birmingham when they wanted to bring Zola in unfairly. He was, what did he have, 12 games in charge at Stoke, or was it 14 or something? And he drew 7 of those, and he only lost once. I mean, Stoke's a cesspit. We're seeing that now. I do massively agree he hasn't. I say we're pinning the blame on Rowett here, but there is a much bigger issue in general in terms of recruitment, of the whole process in the players that we've brought in and the regularity is what I would say in having to rebuild. It seems like every year with Rowett, we had to rebuild. There's been no long-term strategy for the 4 years that he was here. It was always deliver now, get like 5 loan players in, 4 loan players in now, tie players down on short-term deals for now. Oh, and then we're rebuilding again. The loan players have gone back. We haven't bought them or whatever it is. So I think, there is an element of he's probably left us in a position of, I'm not going to say shit because he didn't leave us in shit, but I think we're now just seeing where we are, where we're lacking quality. That's a better way of putting it in terms of the squad.
I agree. The recruitment, I mean,
we're going to hit on that in a bit. Trust me.
In the summer, the summer was awful for our football club. It was awful, and we'll come on to that and we'll discuss that a bit later on.
Go back on.
I do think that there are further issues. You're right, Ben. The fact that we keep talking about rebuild and how many players we're going to bring in the summer, and it was always we need 8, 9, 10 to actually have a squad again. That's not good enough. But the fundamentally, and again yesterday, that everyone could see it. We can see it all over the place. We built a squad that has no pace, that has no drive. The only time we ever look like we can carry the ball forward is when we give it to Norton Cuffy, who I'm not going to get on his back. I don't think he had the best of games yesterday, but he certainly wasn't the worst out there. But that's because we just couldn't get him into the game. But when he's on the ball and driving forward, you notice a difference because he's got pace. And Maku come on. I think he should have scored with his chance. But again, that little bit of pace that makes that worries defenders. Every team that we've come up against in the last 2 months, 3 months, however long you want to go back, have had players that run at our defence who are aging, who are older, who are not comfortable, and everyone's worked it out. But we can't do that because we don't have the pace to do it.
Right. The problem is Rowett fucking played the same fucking setup week in, week out, forever and a day. And to be fair, I don't want to talk about Rowett anymore because he's gone. To me, he's just another fucking passing ship in the wind, mate. He come here, yes, thank you for what you did while you were here, but you're gone. You fucking, you haven't left, the only legacy to a degree that you left is that you stabled the ship, and that's it. Thank you very much. You've gone. But because of the way he played teams out for the last 4 years, people have sussed that actually year 1, Murray Wallace was okay. By the time we got to year 3, year 4, and now after he's left, people know he can't take pace. Run at him and we'll get behind him, and then we can cause problems. Because Cardiff's goal wasn't just the keeper's fault. Yeah, the keeper should have got down quicker, faster. But did you see the fucking defenders? They was just standing around looking at each other as if going, "Oh, that's all right, you'll do it. No, you'll do it." No. And there was no one around him. So he had pretty much a free chance into it. No, I'm not going to listen. That's the way it is. We fucking outdone ourselves. And then, right, where else do you want to go? Where do you want to start? Should we start on the players, or are we going to start on something else?
I was just about to say, there's 2 elements to that. I think we need to touch upon the players. You mentioned Murray Wallace there. We don't want to turn this into a Murray Wallace hate show. It seems like
I don't want to hate him. He's been outstanding for us.
I think there's 2 different sides to it here. So Stephen's very much in the get Adam Malachi in. He can't do any worse. And I'm very much in there's got to be a reason behind it. So should we start down that left-hand side and that left back?
Let's go. The left back position. All right, Ben. Round 1, ladies and gentlemen, round 1. Ben, do we keep Murray Wallace on that left back, or are we going to bring in someone else? What's your views on that left back position?
Well, I think we need to bring someone in. Is the first point to that, but until January we can't. So we've been calling for, or people have been calling to get Adam Malachi in the squad. Murray Wallace is finished, X, Y, and Z. Joe Edwards has managed youth team players pretty much for the whole of his footballing, coaching career, managerial career. He's now been at the club for what, 5 weeks, 4 weeks? Say 5. He would have seen enough of Malachi in training and enough of Murray Wallace struggling on the pitch to know if Malachi would be good enough and ready enough, which I think is the more important point, to come in and make an impact at left back. So I get the point we need to make a change, but I also am very firmly in the opinion of we can't just throw the young lad in if he ain't ready. And Joe Edwards is seeing him day in, day out in training and seeing how Murray Wallace is performing on the pitch. So to me, it screams to me that he isn't ready to play. Otherwise, Joe Edwards would play him. Joe Edwards isn't stupid, right? So
I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think, a lot of the youth aren't necessary, but I think there's probably 2 bits there. If you look at it in a grown-up thing, if you were the new manager in, and he's been in 3 games in 3-4 weeks, if that, right? You've come in, there is last thing you want to do is suddenly come in and go, Malachi, SA, Maku, and all that from the youth team, and suddenly put him in the first team. Because instantly what you're going to do there is you're going to fucking upset the dressing room and you're going to suddenly turn your senior players head fuck right against you. And he does not need that right at this moment.
No.
So he's going to sit there, slowly bring him into the first team training, let the players see that actually they've got something about them, and then be able to put him in. That's what that's what I'm looking at it in a normal, not in a football environment, but in a normal working environment. I wouldn't walk into an office and pick the kid what's been there 3 weeks or whatever, or a year compared to someone who's been there 5 years and go, oh, by the way, I want you to do this job. Do you know what I mean? You just wouldn't do it. But I do think that there's possibility that surely they can show a little bit more than what they're being used for. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Surely half hour, let them do something. Because when Amaku come on, if he'd have been on most of the game, we could have got a result there.
The Amaku and Esso one is different, but I'd like to go into that after. But yeah, go on, Steve.
Right. I begrudgingly accept that Joe Edwards is paid to be the head coach of Millwall Football Club. And if he's watching the players on the training ground and he thinks that Adam Malachi isn't good enough to play at left back over Murray Wallace, I can accept that. But you've got Danny McNamara, who is a fullback. I know he's right-footed, but who is a fullback. You've got Ryan Leonard, who, as much as I don't like utility players, and I know Leonard has played very, very well at right back when he's played for us this season and up there for player of the season, you have options to take Murray Wallace out of the firing line that's not a youth player. If you don't want to take the risk of putting Adam Malachi in, that's absolutely fine. But try something else, because even before Joe Edwards, and I think this was before we played Southampton before Joe Edwards arrived, didn't we? That was under Adam Barrett, right? That they attacked Danny McNamara down the right-hand side and got no luck in the first half. Second half, they switched over and Carl Walker-Peters absolutely battered Murray Wallace for 45 minutes, and the goal come from that side. And since then, Sakamoto's done it for Coventry. Burns, I think, did it, or whoever it was for Ipswich. On Sunday, last Saturday, it's whoever Sunderland had, they did the same thing. So if Adam Malachi isn't ready, which fair enough, he might not be ready, but someone else surely must be able to try and fill in at left back and at least give the opposition something else to think about and make them do something else.
A curveball into you boys, you two there. Someone in the comments sat there and said it. Anthony Pike. The left back has always been an issue for years.
Well, let's be honest. Murray Wallace isn't a left back. Let's just start with that. He's a centre half.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
So he's done well to even play it for us for 4 years or whatever, how long he's been with us now at left back. He's a centre half. So yeah, we have taken a cheap option. We needed a left wing back for a while. But then I suppose in an argument to that, we have signed Joe Bryan, and as I said on Friday, he's made a poppadoms a bloke. So you can't. He's our starting left back, right? But you can't.
And that's not a cheap option. I know it's a free transfer, but he is on big money. So it's not a cheap option. And I get that with Brian, he would play, but you knew he had injury problems before you signed him. That's why Fulham shipped him off out to France when they did. I just think that I get the whole youth. They might not be ready. I understand that, but it's a team game. How disappointing and disheartening must it be for Murray Wallace to consistently know you're going out to play a game of football and the opposition are targeting you? So one of the Ipswich players come out in their interview and specifically said that they've been working on attacking us down our left-hand side. How disheartening must that be for a footballer? You have to take him out the firing line. Leicester, okay, it's a free hit. We all know. We're all probably fearing the worst.
We're going to win it.
I don't know.
You just know the way we go, we will just something will happen. I mean, look at the football results at the minute. You would have never have said going into the game today in the Prem that Tottenham would have beat Newcastle.
No,
shit happens in football.
I
understand
that, but realistically, with how it's going and the way that we are, it's a free hit. But I just think moving forward, I know there's big games. Huddersfield's a big game. Stoke's a massive game. They may have a manager by then, they might not. QPR, another massive game. You've got to try and do something to take some of the heat off of Wallace, because he's just getting absolutely roasted. And as I say, I feel sorry for the guy because he's constantly being asked to play out there, and I don't think that's right.
And whilst I do agree with that, 100%. There needs to be a point where we do need to change it. But I think my point was more angled at people saying about getting Malachi and the playing of Leonard or Danny Mack out there. I don't like playing a right footer at left back. It's just going to be unbalanced. You're always going to. Whilst I
agree. I agree with that, but you've got to try something.
Yeah,
you've got. And someone. I think
what about
Anthony,
sticking Cooper in at left back?
No, it's even worse.
He's just not agile enough, is he?
No, that someone comment. I think Anthony commented he tried Longman there. I'm pretty sure Ben will agree with me on. I know Dan would if he was here. Brian Longman was shipped out by Hull because he is not good enough. They went and bought a £5 million replacement in that Philogene or whatever his name is, who's got bloody 14 or 13 goals and assists or whatever it is combined, because they had someone who wasn't good enough for the Championship, shipped him off to someone who was willing to take him in us because we were desperate, and signed a player that is actually good enough for this division. And that tells you all you need to know about Ryan Longman.
I think, sorry, Ben, I think come January, or even we might see it before January over the Christmas games, but I think there are going to be young'uns coming in, because I just think he needs, like someone else said there, he does need to start stamping the role, stamping his authority as such. But I just think that there are big changes when the youngsters come on. Esse and Maku, when they come on, I mean, I'm not talking about Malachi and that, but, with those, you need to just suddenly go, rather than a 20-minute, just fucking play them for 60 minutes and then take them off. Don't do it the other way around.
But again, my argument would still be the same, Mickey. Have we got too overhyped about these young lads in Amaku and Esse?
100%.
Joe Edwards is seeing these guys day in, day out. We're struggling to create stuff going forward. We're struggling at left back. We've got two attacking players in Esse and Amaku. We've got a left back there in Malachi, as we keep saying, and they're still not getting game time. So, and as I've said, Edwards has been a youth coach and knows the youth game inside out and knows what it takes to then play in the men's game, being an assistant manager, obviously now head coach with us. So
let's just stop that, right? Head coach, manager, whatever. Same fucking position.
Yeah, same.
Right. The only reason that I think that we've now employed someone to be called head coach is because we have a director of football operations in the football manager kid.
Mate.
Do you know what I mean? And again, that's another thing what fucking we will get onto in a bit, mate, because that just, confuses the fuck out of me, really. If you're a manager or a coach, whatever. Realistically, right? Just before we move on back to the players, just out of you two there and the but realistically, are you going to take what a journalist or an ex-journalist who's never played professional in the league, whatever, and is young, would you take what he tells you?
I suppose it's a bit.
Or would you look at doing it yourself?
No, all other clubs seem to have a director of football, right? It's not a director of football operations. So I'd be interested to know what the operations bit actually means and what more he does compared to a director of football. If it is more than just scouting, player recommendations, networking, etc., then yeah, I'd be concerned. I don't know enough about it to say he gets his hands into any other areas of the squad or the team or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's not the ideal background, is it? I think we mentioned it on the Friday show, didn't we, Mickey? You look at like Les Ferdinand, QPR's director of football for a long time, and Ryan Giggs is director of football at Salford. I know it's a bit different, but do you know what I mean? You've got ex-pros in a lot of clubs that are directors of football.
No, that's it. So, fuck it. Do you know what? Let's get through it. I mean, so we all agree that Murray Wallace is a liability for us playing on that left back.
Yes.
I won't say a liability because Murray Wallace he's done well for us. He's struggling.
He's a target.
Struggled. Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to call him a liability.
Making him a liability.
Yeah, no. But he's struggling. He's not good enough now. I don't want to call him a liability though.
All right.
This one. He will be the first one I'd replace in January. If Joe Bryan would stay fit, he had bollocks, should be my uncle. But if he can stay fit, then I'd be playing Joe Bryan. Put it that way.
Right. Exactly. That's that. I agree with Lions Raw and whatnot. I think we will shithouse a 1-0 win. Or honest
against Leicester.
Honest to God, they are due a loss. They're not unbeatable. They've had some thingies this year. So yeah, I will have what Mickey's having. No, listen, we'll come back next Friday and you'll be all going to me going, fuck me, he's right. Or if we win on Leicester, I'll be doing a space that evening, just going, come on in. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the apology. Thank you, so thanks for the apology. Thank you. My biggest fear is that the next home, literally the words are here. The next home game, fans are turning more and more.
Should we answer that now then?
No, I want to go down another player first before we go to Edwards.
I hope it's a player. I think, please, Mickey, don't.
Is it not time now to drop Fleming?
Ben, you can go first on this one.
Yeah. He hasn't done enough for ages, is he? We spoke about it again on Friday. I don't think he's playing his right position. I don't think he's affecting games enough. I think he's playing in a side that lacks confidence, and he's not doing enough. It contradicts what I said about Malachi. If I was taking him out, I would put SA in there. But yes, I think now he has to know he's not undroppable.
100%. I think he needs to just be, you're not doing a lot there, so get out. Do you know what I mean? Come on, Stephen.
I've lost patience. It's just, we had in the group chat earlier, there was people talking about, there's messages going to and from, and we were talking about this and saying, for me, in world football, if you play with a number 10, your number 10 is your attacking midfielder. It's someone who's to create chances, score goals, be involved in most of the things going forward. If you look across most teams, they have someone that plays in that role that does that. And a comment, and I'm not going to throw this person under the bus, the comment was that Fleming's not a creator. Right, okay, Fleming's not a creator. Across his career, he doesn't get that many assists. Well, he shouldn't be playing in the number 10 then, should he? He shouldn't. There's just no argument. There's nothing else you can say. Should he perhaps have a go up front? Maybe, but in his position he's playing at the moment and being asked to play, we've got I know Essay, there's, might not be as good as we thought and overhyped. We've got one of the most hottest prospects we've had in a long time that can play in the number 10. I've come up with the stat. We've seen more from Duncan Watmore in 17 and 20 minutes in the last 2 games than we've seen in Fleming, arguably for the last 10 games. Why does he continuously get asked to start in a position where if he doesn't create, he's not scoring, what's he doing? I don't get it.
Yeah, there was a huge argument for that. And just going back, I think, again, we brought it out a couple of weeks ago. His stats for assists are in 247 games, including youth team level. He has got 21 assists in 247 games. And as a number 10, exactly what you said, Stephen, the number 10 role is your creator, it's your attacking midfielder, it's your advanced playmaker, it's all your football managerisms under the sun. That is where you need to get your creativity from. And if he's not doing that, it's either a change of position or we take out a number 10 and change formation. So he's not doing enough. We need to have a look at who's playing in there or changing position.
And there's a couple of comments about saying, our top scorer, Fleming's got 4 goals, which he does. There's no denying that. But Kevin Nisbet's also got 4 goals as well. So they're joint top goal scorers. I think
probably half the games she's been out.
No. Well, the stat I've got here says that Fleming's got 4 in 20 and Nisbet's got 4 in 17. I'd be interested to see how many of Nisbet's have come off with the bench.
Yeah, I would imagine half of those have been off the bench at least.
Yeah. Rather than starting.
There'll be someone in the comments who would do the search for that and just come back and give it a stat on there.
It's just one of those with Fleming. I think last season, for 3/4 of the season, he was unbelievable, and he was. And you can't take that away from him. Much like with Murray Wallace, has been, a rock solid player for us over the years. Fleming come in and he was really, really good for 3/4 of a season. But since that block, whatever it was, whether it was that teams knew how to deal with Fleming or they marked him out the game or whatever it was, since then, he has not been anywhere near the standard.
Who was it last year? Was it it was Neil Warnock, wasn't it? It was Neil Warnock who turned around and said, we just marked the Dutch lad. I told him to mark the Dutch lad. We've been practicing on marking the Dutch lad. And that was where he started not doing anything from there, because other teams suddenly realised when Warnock come out, because Warnock played a beauty that game, didn't he? He coming up to that game, he was praising us, telling how fearful he is going to the Den and really blowing loads of smoke up our arse. Come to the Den and just absolutely closed Zion down, just frustrated him. And literally every club, and I think that's the biggest problem, because, and we go back to it, because of how Rowett played for so long, he's pretty much opened all our secrets to the world. And the only way we're going to get around that again is by bringing in some of the youth, maybe, who people don't know how they play. And just go, right, this is what we're going to do. But I mean, look, a quick question before we go on to another player, I suppose, is, are we missing Scott Malone? Because he would do a job. Would he not do a job for us now? Is he worse than Murray?
No, we signed Joe Bryan, didn't we? So I'd argue Muzza wouldn't even be playing there again. Joe Bryan would be starting left back. So
yeah, Scott Malone.
He's injured. If he was still here, at least he'd be playing, wouldn't he? I know he's League Two now, but at least he'd probably be able to do a fucking job there.
Scott Malone defensively would be absolutely ruined still. So no, not for me.
I mean, it's MSC 1885 says, to be fair, Dan Burn plays left back for Newcastle and does all right. Same build as Cooper. Sounds mad, but could work.
Dan Burn is playing out of his skin over the last couple of years, and good luck to him. Newcastle fan playing for the Newcastle first team, great. But that as soon as any proper left back becomes available, they will buy him, and that'd be the end of it. With us as well, Cooper. We know with Cooper, that if we put Jake Cooper out on the left hand side, the opposition manager is going to go right, target him instead, whether it's Murray Wallace or not.
So, if Sanford played yesterday instead of Campbell, would we have won? Or we win, he says.
Possibly. I think Campbell. Ben, I watched part of the show that you guys did on Friday, and you said something along the lines of, if he doesn't get a kick in the game, then we'll know where he's heading. He got 90 minutes, and quite frankly, we probably can see why Joe Edwards he's not really getting a look in under him.
Yeah, again, I think he still don't look fit to me, which is mental. Still doesn't look fit to me. And again, we said it on Friday, saying it again now, in a system that Joe Edwards wants to play aggressive on the ball, he wants to play aggressive off it, you got to be fit. And
we're not fit for some reason.
Doesn't look match fit still to me. But he started because of default, isn't he? Because we know Casper would have played, Sav would have played.
Yeah. I mean, Casper obviously not playing. He's not doing this. I've got an interesting one next before we go on to some more players. Go on.
Out of interest, on Wednesday, Sav is back, so Sav starts, but we'll probably agree that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Who do you think he's going to play with him? Do you think it'll be Mitchell?
Yeah, I think it will be.
I think he needs to, doesn't he? Because those two were building up to be a phenomenal pairing in the middle, and I think Mitchell plays better when he's with Sav because Sav keeps him on control, doesn't he, on the leash?
And I think Billy's got more legs than Campbell at the minute.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it will definitely be Billy.
I mean, let's not forget that Campbell weren't playing a lot for Luton when he was there either.
Well, it's why he was loaned out. I think we have to, and this was another comment that has been thrown around. We need to realise who we are. We
always bat above. We always get way above our fucking our level, mate. Our fan base will always think that we're just about on the verge of signing Messi, or we're just about to take over the Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that, and I understand that. And our transfer dealings are exactly a football club who knows exactly where they are in the footballing chain. We sign players from other clubs who are not fit, who are not wanted, who are surplus to requirement, and so they can then go and, they've got a space in their squad to go and sign someone who they want. Now, you might find a gem, you might get lucky with it. You might find someone and think, oh, God, well, bloody hell, why have they let him go? But ultimately, the players, maybe not Brooke Norton-Cuffley, but the players that come to us on loan tend to be because they're just massively down the pecking order somewhere else. That's usually at the same level as us.
We'll come on to players in a bit because I was speaking to a Leeds fan the other day with some update. I'll share it with you boys with There's a couple of fans in the comments. Cherry Louis has been going on about it on Twitter most games. But I've got Ryan who's pretty much put the direct question there. So we'll put that straight to you now. All of the subs were questionable yesterday.
And Maku aside, yes. I thought Maku, that was an obvious choice. Duncan Watmore looked okay, but it to me, it feels like when we make subs, we lose whatever the game plan is. We don't settle what we don't actually know. It's just a case of trying to respond to the opposition or a goal and whatnot.
I'm going to throw a real left field one there. You don't think that there's possibly something in Fleming's and Wally's contract what fucking they have to play every game, do you?
No, definitely not. Mo Wallace, we signed him from Stamford, didn't we?
Yeah, but don't forget, has he not done his? We just done his contract. Didn't he have a new contract last year?
I don't think you'd need to put in a clause in one of your players that you've already got signed to the club that they have to play. I don't think so.
I don't know. Listen, I've got no idea. I've got no inside knowledge. I'm just asking because you'd obviously, if you were an agent, you'd want that clause in, especially if your player's getting older. Or you want to put him in the shop window like with Fleming. I don't even know if these things really happen anymore or not.
Fleming is, I think, I don't want to keep going on about Fleming. There's other things to talk about, but he is being played because the manager and probably the players are desperate for him to do something in a game to find that spark, but it's just not happening.
Just going back to the subs again. Excuse me. Again, we got this superstar in SA, this massively huge, game-changing wonder kid that's going to tear everyone on their arsehole. SA. Why did not come on yesterday?
I don't know.
Well,
I cannot answer that question.
This is exactly my point. Joe Edwards made a huge point about when he came in about understanding from a youth player's perspective your roles and responsibility when you get an opportunity in the first team. He's clearly seen something in training or when he's brought him on for a very limited time that he doesn't like. Why? You're 1-0 down against Cardiff. So why, unless Joe Edwards is a complete and utter lunatic, which we all must think he is, why has he not come on? This is what I'm trying to get at. We think we've got these I think we just need to understand that these kids are playing in youth level football. Yes,
it's a completely different thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Is
different to the Championship. The Championship is the hardest league in the world by none for physical demands, I would say. And
do you think it's more physical than the Prem?
Oh yeah, it's more physical.
Yeah, just because of the nature of it, Mickey, I would say.
And you can't do anything in the Prem without it being looked at with VAR and fouls given left, right, and centre. I am with you there, Ben. With Essa, I cannot understand why he's not getting any game time. And ultimately, and this is going to sound insane to think about it from where we were at the start of the season. If Romain Esse is not good enough in Joe Edwards' eyes, then he needs to be sent out on loan. And he needs to be sent out on loan to be playing men's football to toughen him up or whatever it is. And you get someone that can play at this level.
The only other thing I think this is a massive piece of speculation. Is he off?
I don't know. It was something was said on another podcast earlier.
I didn't mean to say that.
There was something said on another podcast. Whether or not they got inside knowledge or not. But as far as we know, it's not. And for once, it wasn't us. So,
but it could be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
If Esse's gonna go, right? If Esse's gonna go, then fine. But then please buy someone that's gonna play in that number 10 position and actually impact the game. Or I have no issue with sending Esse out on loan if he doesn't think he's good enough, because he's sat on the bench doing nothing. So get him experience in men's football. Go and look at the Premier League. Go and look at other, even if it's abroad, maybe players that can come in and play and give. Because we always used to say it was the same with Marlon Romeo, potentially the same with Danny McNamara. If players don't have other players that are a threat,
why are you fucking bringing him into this?
Because what I'm saying is if players don't have a threat to their position, they get comfortable and they just play week after week, regardless of performances. And Zian Fleming, again, is someone that just seems to know that he's going to be, I'm going to play in the next game and I might get taken off, but I'm going to play 70 minutes. Get someone that's going to give him real competition and then say to him, right, well, you're out unless you start fucking your ideas up. If it's not SA, then it's someone else. Go and do it.
Yeah, I'd argue as well. We have got players that can play in that position. Honeyman can play. Honeyman played there for Hull.
Absolutely. It doesn't hurt. I wouldn't be surprised if Fleming, and again, he was dropped for the Leeds game, wasn't he? And that was all a bit of a shock. But now you can understand if it was to happen. I honestly think if Fleming does get dropped at any point, it'd be George Honeyman that plays in that number 10 role. It'd be him that gets the opportunity.
Was Honeyman carrying a knock? I'm assuming that's why he didn't come on.
Possibly, I don't know.
We've got to catch up with these comments for a minute, so yeah, bear with us 1 second, because we're just hitting all the comments about should Fleming be dropped, okay? So and Vlad, I'll take it. Are you one of the? Are you? I don't know where you're based because you said Husky, which I'll come to in a bit later on that. But are you whereabouts are you based? You say it's not over here. Are you one of the Russian Millwall fans, or are you somewhere else? I'm only guessing because of your name. So yeah, let me know. So yeah, so it looks like he has a touch of a 40-year-old virgin that is blind. Don't know if that's Fleming or if that's Murray Wallace. Fleming out. Drop him. Overrated. I'd like to see SA in Fleming's position. Dutch mug bench. How the tide has turned from on Fleming. If we'd have done this, six months ago, we would have been slaughtered for it, wouldn't we? Do you know what I mean? We'd have probably been cancelled. Drop Fleming like a bad habit. 100% walks in the team week after week on bad or shit performances. Drop him. Exactly. Drop him. Moldy Tony, hope you're well. Fleming is not a forward, that's for sure. No, he wasn't that bad. Set up a couple of chances and had to drop deep in the second half, where we found one who's seen. League Two Gillingham have fucking hell. League Two Gillingham have Kenny Jackett as director of football, and we have a kid.
I'd have him back in a heartbeat, by the way.
So would I, as director of football, 100%.
Yeah.
Burnley offered 13k. Mickey on.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, that one.
Fuck is that?
Don't Google it, whatever you do.
I think I know what that is as well. So yeah. Now he's worth £1.50. Fleming's decision making is so slow. Need an attacking midfielder needs pace. Fleming is slow as shit. Bradder's mum is better at number 10 than Zian Fleming at the moment.
Tony knows.
Stick Fleming up front on Wednesday. If he plays shit, then you know he wants out, and he was a talented player. Slow, fat, not interested. Mickey. Oh, sorry, Muggy. I thought they said Mickey then. I was going to say, oh, here we go.
I was about to say that's harsh on all of us.
Yeah. We should have took 8 million for Fleming, but priced him out. Our top scorer is sitting on 4 goals. What a fucking joke. Wednesday, he better be benched.
He won't be. He won't be, though. Yes,
finally, SA or the Ginger Messi for me. Who's the Ginger Messi?
Watmore.
Oh, Watmore, yeah. Fleming should be playing as a striker, though. He did that at Fortuna and scored a lot of goals.
Yep,
it's worth it.
SA on one wing, Amaku on the other, and Watmore behind the striker. That ain't a bad setup.
Just on that, though, Amaku's started, so we said this on Friday, started, 3 games? He had 1 good game at Preston. He was awful against Blackburn, and everyone was awful against Ipswich.
Yeah. Again, with Amaku, though, I don't think he really wants to play out wide. He's just got to do it because he's the only one, again, that's got any pace. So
a bit like Voggy last year. Voggy played better down the middle than he did on the wing.
Yeah, agreed.
For me, Fleming doesn't work hard enough. Yeah, but why not? More important to beat Huddersfield on Saturday is 6-pointer, 100%.
Yeah.
We now know why no other team in Europe picked up Fleming. It's true, though, isn't it? If he was that much of a great kid, why didn't other teams come in? I mean, why didn't the Prem pick him up?
I mean, to be fair,
no, Stephen, look, we know
over the summer we could have. No, hold on. Whoa. I've been banging the drum for the last 2 weeks that he should be out of the team. So
should we share the WhatsApp group?
I mean, I have said that he should be on the WhatsApp group. So,
stuff at me.
but in the summer, we had the opportunity to sell him for over £10 million. We think. So
yeah, but something happened then.
No, I know something happened, but there was a football club that had continuously bid to sign him for decent money for us. So at that point, we'd done something right, and a Premier League club were looking at him. It's just obviously now that's not the case, and for whatever reason it is, I don't know. But he's not the player. He's not the player that walked through the door the
issue I had then, I
last
still
season.
have that issue now, is from a purely business sense. And me and my old man had a heated discussion about this at about 6 o'clock yesterday evening. From a purely business decision, we get what happened with JB. I understand that, and that halted things. But we still wanted 15 million for him. We signed the geezer for 1.4 million. From a pure business decision, if someone then comes in for him for a 1 year flash in the pan, he was never solely taking us to the Premier League. It wasn't happening. We weren't good enough as a team around him for him to solely do it. So why did we not cash in at 8, 7, 9, whatever?
Because maybe they thought that he would be able to do a position. He'd be able to do something for us. I mean, look, Finn. I think Finn's a Coventry fan, and he says, look, Millwall going through same phase Coventry went through, playing well but just can't get 3 points. We are now just beginning to gel. Give the manager time. Oh, I'm not. Listen, in all of this, I don't think Edwards is definitely nowhere near this conversation to be blamed. I don't think it's Edwards. I think that he's dealing with what he's got, and I think that when I say January, I don't necessarily think it will be the January transfer window. I don't think we're suddenly going to, make massive moulds unless we can get, Creswell back and a couple of other youngsters like him. Then yeah, okay. But I don't think it's Edwards. I think Edwards doing with what he's got, and I think the problem is that Rowett played so much predictable football, and I've said it so many times that he never went out to win, he never went out to lose, he just didn't go out to not lose. Do you know what I mean? That's what he did. He just went out really that he didn't care what happened as long as he didn't lose. And that was the problem, that he exposed players which are now being done. Somebody in the comments there a minute ago was saying Fleming now is being pressed and being closed down rapidly and everything else. And that's what they do. They know we can go down the left with Murray, run at him, can't defend it. And if we close off Fleming and just surround him, mark him, he can't do anything either, then all of a sudden, we ain't got nothing.
I'd also add to that with under Rowett, and I know we don't want to keep this the past, but he had Jed Wallace, who was the maverick, who was the man that scored all our goals, created all our goals. Last season, it was Zian Fleming. I know Bradshaw also was up there with him with the goals as well. But he just, do you know what I mean? There was, he's had a player that he would look to. How many times? And it was only when they didn't score, Bradshaw and Fleming, that you'd hear Rowett come out and say things like, oh, we need goals from elsewhere. We need this, we need that. But inside, he was doing exactly the same thing he did with Wallace. It was give them the ball, let them do something. But unfortunately, that only gets you so far.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. Let's get through some of these comments before we move forward, or else we're going to get fucked.
Just on that one, Mickey, I totally agree there, Mill Holdings. We're looking... Didn't Dan bring up a stat that we have got the oldest squad in the league?
Yeah, it's an average of about 28, I think it is.
Yeah, so again, it shows. Right, we talk about pace in the side, but just that general athleticism. We're a very square side, I feel. You look at all these other clubs, all the players they have, they're quick, athletic, nippy players.
Is it? Sorry, I'm late. Can't stop, but this ain't going to end well with Joe Edwards. And some of us saw it coming. He'll be gone by the end of Jan, hopefully. Don't think he will.
Ben, do you want to take that comment?
I don't think he will. I think he's here for the long term. He's not going anywhere. They have made, the board have put their fucking eggs, their money on Joe Edwards, and there is no way. Win shit or bust, he is staying.
Yep.
But then again, we did say that Rowett fucking is loved by the board and he's going to stay, and then all of a sudden he fucking disappeared. So what the fuck do we know? Question, how long is this manager's contract for? Anyone out of interest? 3 years, I think, isn't it?
Possible. It might have been the 2+1. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even want to get into Joe Edwards.
No, nor do I. I don't think we even need to entertain that conversation, because I think it's fucking madness.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing, and it's not about him being out or I want him gone. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. But would you like to see Edwards perhaps just try to grind out some results over the coming games, just to get some points on the board, rather than go to try and play the way he wants to? Would you rather him just try and pick up some points and then get a couple of faces in January and see from there? Because if we keep going down the same route, like there was a comment earlier, next Saturday you lose that game to Huddersfield, there is big problems for him, and it's not right, but that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, but we didn't lose yesterday because of our play style.
Yeah, we lost yesterday because we didn't have the determination and hunger to want to go out there and win that game.
So that's my point. It's not
and I don't think our keeper yesterday, like what Chris says, Silett comes back after injury and makes one questionable mistake and gets compared to Long. He is not Long in any shape, form. Long is absolutely doing a blinding job at Norwich, and and I do agree with Chris is what he's saying there. This absolute fucking love fest for Bart. Bart is fucked. If he gets through this season, I think that will be it for Bart. I don't think Bart will be going on anymore. I think that's it. Because I think his knees are fucked. He's 36, 37.
I have to say, I actually would have played Bart yesterday, and I would have brought Sarkic back on Wednesday, and the way to do that would have been that Bart can't play, Saturday, Wednesday, and then you get Sarkic back in as the number one. I would have given him yesterday. Just.
I was amazed he was dropped yesterday.
So was I.
Just going back to the Edwards piece and your point, Stephen, we didn't change our play style. We didn't lose yesterday for our play style. So going in and grinding out results, I don't think we're not trying to do that now. We did it against Sunderland. We weren't as aggressive or on the front foot as we have been. So I don't think it's a case of completely changing.
Mill Holdings has got a valid point here. And I just come to, Bobby, I think you've probably been, instead of spraying your aftershaves, mate, I think you've been inhaling the aftershave there, fella. Do you know what I mean? Mill Holdings, do we have any governors in this squad recall years ago? Like when obviously Michael wrote the book, Football, the Family, and obviously there were governors in. You had players like Paul Robinson, Tony Craig, Neil Harris, etc., etc., etc. I don't think we have those now. Who in this team have you got? Sav, maybe?
To me, Sav's one of the only ones that really is an actual leader on the pitch. Hutchinson, as much as I love Hutch, he seems to have. I'm not saying he's finished, but I think Hutchinson seems to have lost that little bit of bite that he had a couple of years ago. Cooper, for me, isn't a leader. I think he's the natural option to give the armband to because he's been there for so long and played so many games, but it doesn't make him a leader. Outside of Sav, I think it's a real struggle, looking for people to try and drag you through or, you don't want players that like moaning and shouting at each other, but you want the players to turn around, someone to turn around and get them going or, give them a bit of a rollicking sometimes when they need it. And I just don't see any of our players outside of Sav doing that.
Fleming spent the international break in a waffle shop. But I just need to get through these, mate. Fleming to be sold to Qatar. Oh, I see what you've done there. Playing words there. Yeah. Sav at 10. Yeah. They must be pissed with. The players see what we see. They must be pissed with Fleming being picked every week, especially Esu, Watmore, and Amaku. Absolutely.
On that, while you go through the comments, Mickey, and again, none of us have ever been professional footballers, but you must, like the players, they must sort of, go knock on a manager's door and say, I want more game time, or I don't know how the conversations go, but unless they're not doing that, Edwards must be giving them some kind of reason as to why. If they, you couldn't just ignore them and say, oh no, well, I'm picking Fleming and that's it. There must be a reason, or they're not asking.
You two keep talking. I'm going through the comments quickly.
There was one just on a comment that flashed up. Sorry, Stephen, I didn't catch it. I was reading something. There was one about the consequences of going down.
I've highlighted that. I was going to say we could come to that in a bit, but yeah, go on. If you want to do it now, do it now.
I don't want to think about that one. I still think we will have enough to stay up 2. But if that did happen, you've got to keep with Joe Edwards and let him build the play style and squad that he wants to. And someone else followed up in a comment a second ago and said, look at Ipswich. Exactly. That would be the exact model, whatever you want to call it, in which we want to move towards as a football club. We need to get away from this archaic 4-4-2 direct football. No one plays it anymore. No, it doesn't happen. Yes, teams are a little bit more direct than others, but no one plays 4-4-2 anymore. It doesn't happen. So we need to move on. We need to progress. We need to sign the right sort of players. We need to be a bit more forward thinking in terms of those players. And I'm going to come on to recruitment in a bit. But dare I say it, going down wouldn't be a bad thing if we stuck with Joe Edwards and have a plan to build around him.
Yeah, that's now we come to that in a bit. Yeah, that's my thinking as well. You say this one from PJ.
That is depressing. And
if we play Bart, and I'm going to read it out for those listening on the podcast. If we play Bart, Leonard, Hutch, and Wallace, they have a combined age of 158. Is there an older back 5 than us? There's one for the stat guys. Do you know what I mean?
Just also on that,
I'm getting loads of abuse, by the way, that I'm being told I'm about 15 minutes behind on fucking comments. So yeah,
just a quick one on that. Again, not only the age of that back 5, and I said this a while back that Hutch and Coops would get into most championship sides now. I actually don't think that any of those would get in another championship side, which is a bigger concern rather than their age.
Possibly Leonard.
Possibly, but I don't think he'd start in many sides, mate. I don't think he'd start in many sides.
No, but I think managers would like him for that. The fact that he can play centre back, right back, in the midfield. I think he's one that people would pick up. But the others at this level, certainly, no. Not anymore.
No, I'll give it Sam. I totally agree. Listen, if they're fucking not playing, then throw them in front of the bus, mate. Give them a reality check. Do you know what I mean? I think the world is soft now in many senses, and I think that we're not talking about Maeve, who works on the fucking photocopier in the office on 15 grand a year. We're talking about players what are on potentially 15 grand a week. And if you can't take being told that you're playing shit, then unfortunately, maybe you should go fucking swap with Mavis and fucking do the photocopying, because you're a football player earning a bundle of money and it costs us fucking fortunes to follow you fucking no good cunts up and down the country, and yet you can't fucking go play football for 90 minutes. You having a fucking bubble or what? Do you know what I mean? Who the fuck are you? Go out there and win the ball. Listen, I could fucking, through this chat, I could fucking get 11 of us, right, to go out there and play with playing for the badge, and we would play our fucking socks off. We might get spanked fucking 30-0, but I guarantee you we'll give as good as we got. We might not score a goal or 1 or 2. Ben will score 2. He'll score a penalty and he'll score a fucking super free kick. And what's his name will come on. Fuck off. What's his name will come on the chat in a minute. David will come on the chat and go, I'm your striker for 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? But you get where I'm coming from, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Would end up needing the defib, but after like
20 Who gives
minutes.
A fuck?
But we'd give it a good go.
What I'm trying to say is we'd do it for nothing because of the passion of the club. And these people are getting paid 10 to 15 quid, 10 to 15 grand a week for doing it. And you're like, mate.
I have to say, where Edwards is concerned on that, I actually was surprised the first time when he did do it, when he come out and said that the players are not doing the basics. But I do make him right. You can't just, if you're not doing your job.
Wallace runs like he's 158.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the comments, Ben, Mickey, you the same. If you turn up for work and you don't do your job properly, your boss will have something to say about it. They do. That's just how it is. If the players are not going out and doing what they're supposed to be doing or what they're coached to do and the basics of playing football, I think Edwards has got every right to come out and say that, make those comments. Personally,
Yeah,
Agree.
see, that's it. I agree with you there, Dan. It's all right putting up these little fucking viral videos. Come follow our fucking WhatsApp. Come follow our fucking TikTok. Come follow our Instagram and all that lot. If you can fucking do it on a training field, why can't you do it on the pitch? Because you're practicing shooting outside the area and yet you want to fucking run the ball inside and have a go.
that comment is, for me, that's comment of the night, not the one you just had on about the training vids and they're shooting. Our players, how many times you just want to have a shot? Just they're on the edge of the box, just have a go. But
You mean that one?
Pass. No, the one you had, the one about the training vids.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't even shoot in games. We try to score perfect goals sometimes. We're never ever going to be able to do that. Get it on the edge of the box and just have a go.
Don't know. Sam T. Sam's a new listener, I think. I've not seen that name before, but we're welcome to the show anyway. Agree we need a reality check, but saying we need to stick together. Just don't see how that's going to help him win over the dressing room. Just not sure the press is the best place to wear it. I get where you're coming from, but some days we need to just bring people back down. Stop away fans also in the bottom tier. Go back to how it was. That's why Sunderland got that penalty. Sort of agree with you there.
Or if we just
yes, Mickey, well said. Lazy bastards. Yep. Call a spade, not a garden implement. Exactly my point. Stephen, hold on. Mickey's caught up. There we go, you see. I'm getting there now, gents. I'm going to try and fucking keep getting through it. That's why it'll be a lot easier if we go WhatsApp as well next year. Then you can just voice message. Rather than keep having the text, you can voice message and we just play your voice messages out. So, or get you on and stuff. So, yeah, we all know that we'll lose. We won't lose to Leicester because everyone in the world thinks we're going to get spanked by Leicester. And I just think that we seem to perform when we are the absolute underdog and everyone knows we're going to lose and get absolutely spanked. That's when we come out and suddenly do things. So I don't think. Andrew Roberts, it would be typical of Millwall to get relegated after playing 7 seasons in this division. The season before the Premier League are going to give the Championship more money than they've ever seen before. Totally agree with that. Yeah. In the training vids, they have no one challenging. In the training vids, they have no one challenging when shooting. Bit difference in a match environment. Yeah,
no, they did, John. They had the plastic.
Mickey's been smoking that herb again. No, he ain't. But I'll have some of yours on Saturday, shall I? Who's going Wednesday?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
I think Dan was. I don't think Dan's knowing. Bring back Ben Thompson.
No. Dan is going. It was Ben that was like, "Oh, I'm not going. I'm going Stoke instead." But
yeah, no, I don't think Dan is. I think Dan might not be going now. He said earlier. So yeah, I love your optimism, Mickey. So yeah, no, 6-4-0 formation versus Leicester.
Is that the score?
Yeah. Quickmore, yeah, but these days the players have the power. Remember Rotherham. Look at QPR. Lots of modern players are cheats. Don't know about that. The team ain't an underdog, no governors. This team ain't an underdog team, no governors. 100%. Wes Harden is our best defender. We're not going to lose against Leicester as they won't turn up for that game as they're at their own ground because their coach will be smashed up by. Oh mate, I can't believe that thing with the FA Cup where they won't be putting coaches on because one got.
It'd be interesting though. They put that out on a game where they know that not many of their supporters are going to go. When they come to us in the league, when it actually means more to them, we'll see if they put coaches on then.
Shall I tell you a really funny story about coaches? When we hired the Den out last year, we always get a coach from where I'm from in Epsom. Like all the boys, we had a coach up. And it was just after the Everton. Was it the Everton game?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Would it have been?
Was it the Everton?
That wasn't last year, was it? Who did we smash the coach up last year?
Oh, Blackburn.
Blackburn.
It was Blackburn,
It was the Blackburn game.
When the coach driver took the wrong way and pulled up outside the pub on the Old Kent Road, and the fans started giving it, and all of a sudden they didn't like it when a pint glass come through the window, I think. So yeah.
The Blackburn game. Anyway, so we're getting the coach up, and 2 days before we were supposed to play our game at the Den, I had the coach come and ring me up saying they didn't want to take us, they wanted to cancel the booking. And I had to beg and plead with the woman to make sure she didn't cancel it because she thought we were going to a game or we were coach full of Millwall fans who were going to smash our own coach up. True story.
Right. I've caught up with the comments. Hold off with the comments at the second. With this squad, they don't look at it as a point to prove being underdog. It's a loss that they can roll over and not get stick for. Look at Norwich, Ipswich and Leeds. I totally agree with you there. I think it would be, but I'm going with it. So, yeah. Fuck me, these comments are still coming in thick and fast. Right. Let's do it. I'm probably going to get fucking loads of shit for this, but I don't care. What the fuck is happening with our recruitment over the last couple of years? And now why have we got someone who is only just better, possibly, at Football Manager than... But I'm not even going to say they are better, right? But someone who was a journalist who used to come to all the fans for their inside knowledge, and then as soon as they got into the club, fucked all us fans off with not giving us any inside knowledge back. And then obviously got in the club and now he's director of football operations and recruitment and everything else. Fuck me. Does that mean that realistically Ben and Omar are fan journalists on a podcast? They're mustard at Football Manager. Omar used to have a YouTube channel for Football Manager. Are we looking at potentially in 5-10 years' time, maybe, that Ben and Omar could potentially be running recruitment at Millwall?
Can all dream, mate. But yeah, no, I totally get your point. As I said earlier, you look at other clubs, they seem to have at least ex-pros, people who have a high standing in football. Obviously, there was a comment or a rumour going around, wasn't there? It might come up on the live on Friday, Mickey, where someone said about a lot of it was to do with the players that Rowett wanted, and he had a bit of pushback on Aldo. I think now is going to be an important window, right? Not necessarily now, the January one, but just to see if our recruitment policy changes moving forward, and then we'll see, is it Aldo, is it the scouting staff?
Well, when we played QPR away this year, I think it might have been this year, and there was a couple of backroom staff on the train. I'm not going to mention, but there was a couple of backroom staff on the train, and I asked one of them the question and said, "So who brought in Fleming? I think it was Fleming and a couple of other bods. Who brought them in? Was it Aldo or was it Rowett?" And they turned around to me and said, "Who do you fucking think?" And I said, "Well, I've heard it was Rowett." And he went, "Of course it was Rowett. He's been chasing him since his Birmingham days." So, you're like, okay, so realistically, what players? I mean, I would love for the club to stick Aldo on Wall Talk. Let's see if it happens now, won't we? I would love them to stick him on Wall Talk and actually tell us what you do. Because if you want all this abuse of he's just a Southwark News reporter or he's a Football Manager superstar or he's at News at Den and all that lot to stop, then tell us what the fuck you do. Because at the moment, no one in the comment knows what you do. We don't know what you do. Tell us, what's your responsibility? What is your role? We know what most of the others do, but what's your role? We don't know. I might maybe put an email into the club this week, ask him to tell us what his fucking what his job role and his responsibility is. Who's Aldo? Look, Bobby, who's Aldo? All we know is, mate, he used to work for the Southwark News, and now he's head of recruitment. I mean, he's a good lad. I'm not slagging him off on a personal level. I think he's a switched on kid who made a football website, news website, at the age of about 22, sold it for a nice lump of money to a local newspaper, and he's got the job what every one of us would absolutely fucking adore to have. But what's your credibility for that? What's your CV say for that?
I think the biggest problem that Alex Aldridge has and will always have is the fact that, and you said it earlier, is that he never gives interviews. He never, he's pictured at the games and stuff. He's always probably there, but you just don't see enough from him. Like, as you say, what is his role in bringing in transfers? What is it that the club are asking him to do? I think the recruitment goes further than just Alex Aldridge, because I think we've had for a long time now, we are the team that goes to other clubs in the Championship and basically says, have you got anyone we can have who can play at left back or left mid or this, that and the other? That's who we are.
One second,
we need
Stephen.
to step away from that.
Stephen, sorry. Millwall Holdings. I'm not having that. He was never, ever found on the fucking board. There has only been two of us. There was Peter Garston, and then there was some fella called Mickey Simpson, who is fucking me, who was the second and last found on the board. Aldo has never had that role. He just hasn't got. He hasn't got the CV for that role. He just hasn't got it. There's only two people, me and Peter Garsted. Peter Garsted, who done it before me, and now Shona is pretty much found on the board, or is now rebranded as sporting liaison officer, and she does a fucking superb job. And I know exactly how hard that job is, and good luck to her. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, never found on the board. But yeah, again, he's right. Aldo used to come on Half, used to come on, all the Facebook groups, used to come on Millwall Online, which is at North Stand Banter. He used to DM people, phone people. I've got his number in my phone because he used to text you, phone you, ask you for info. Do you know what I mean? When he was a journo, same as all the journos do. They all want to know what you know, etc., etc. And then literally, as soon as he got the job with football, silence, nothing. Oh, for a new Bob Pearson with his tank top. Yeah, mate, we could do with a Bob Pearson, mate. Absolutely. So, yeah. Stick Aldo on a fence post outside the den, you mean, Mickey?
I think the other thing with...
Hang on one sec, Stephen. Aldo, right? You know my number. You know my email. You want to come on here and have an interview and tell us what you do? Free reign, mate. You can. I've got no issues. I will submit pre-requested questions or anything else for you of what we want to know. If you want to come on the show at any point, not got an issue at all, mate. I'm not gonna, I don't want to hijack you or fucking doorstep you or anything else. The offer's there. If you want to come on and just answer some of the questions, more than welcome. Can't say fairer than that, can I, boys?
Well,
ain't going to happen.
Never going to happen. I also think, much like our playing squad, that Aldo is probably the cheaper option, and the club have gone, we know him, we trust him, we like him, we'll give him the job. That's how it looks to me.
I mean, listen, right? I mean, JB trusted him, so, and JB's not, he trusted him, so that's fine. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I understand that. But my thing is that he just doesn't, I don't know what his credentials are. If I had a choice between Kenny Jackett, Aldo, or fucking
Ben
Thingy Lampard, what's his name? What's his name?
Frank.
No, his uncle. What's his name?
Harry Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp. If I had a choice between Harry Redknapp, Kenny Jackett, or Aldo, Aldo wouldn't be even in the same thought.
No. Well, again, just the fact that I know Kenny went there with Neil. Was Kenny there first? Anyway, doesn't matter. He's their director of football. How someone like that is director of football in League Two, and we have got someone with no experience is baffling.
He never played football, and he never played at any league. He's just a kid who was. Listen, I can understand. He is the modern era. He knows stats inside out, and that's what it's based on. He'll be able to tell you every player on the team and what players are available to fill that position. And I know I wouldn't, wouldn't say he wouldn't be able to do it, but there's a difference between being able to read stuff on a computer and understand. Like I could look at people and go, oh yeah, you look good in front of a camera, but could they do what you lot do, where we actually talk live for an hour, 2 hours off the cuff? There's no notes, no nothing. Could they do that? I'd say I don't know. You'd need to have a bit of understanding, even though I've done it with you lot, and you lot had no experience whatsoever. So maybe it does work. I don't know. Maybe he's good. I don't know. So yeah, bring back the fan on the board. Oh mate, no. The club couldn't fucking handle it. The people who run our club aren't stupid. If he wasn't capable, he wouldn't be in the role. Yeah, I just said that. So, was you a fan on the board, Mickey? I don't like to talk about it. Oh, someone told me wrong then. Apologies. No, that's all right. That's all right. At this moment in time, it's really important to remember that this is Rowett's mess, not Joe. In fact, if you think about it, we've still got players here that Harris signed.
7 of them, to be precise.
7 players that Harris signed.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Scary, isn't it? But let's read this comment out while we made that. It says, at this moment in time, it's really important to remember that this is Rowett's mess, not Joe Edwards. The club need to back him big time in the next few windows. We may have to take the hits of relegation before we reform and push on. I don't believe we'll go down. No, I don't either, to be fair, in the heart. But because we retained Rowett for as long as we did, it's an absolute possibility come on the Lions. And we agree with you, Lee. We've been speaking in the group. I've said in the group that realistically, and we said on Friday's show that realistically, Joe needs at least four transfer windows really to be able to get rid of these and get players in what he can actually class as his. Yeah.
Massively, right. The issues again we're going to have is this January window, or any January, is not a good window. We said it a million times now. It's a shit window to sign players in. You're only ever going to get cast-offs. The interesting thing now is Edwards is going to be looking at the youth players, right? So we might be able to go and get a couple of gems that he may know in the Chelsea youth system or whatever.
That comment that just when you put on there, the guy who mentioned about Brentford having a first-team player was Dulwich Hamlet. Norwich signed a fella from Bromley in the summer who was very, very good at Bromley. I'm trying to Kellen Fisher, who's 19 years old. Again, a mate of mine's a Norwich fan and has said that he cannot believe that nobody in the local area, obviously aimed at us, but there are other clubs, nobody in the local area picked him up, and they've managed to get him because he's that good. I don't know how much game time he's getting. I don't know, but what they've seen of him, they really, really like, and that seems to be a reoccurring theme. South London is typically known as a talented area of young footballers, but we never seem to be the ones that end up picking them up.
Well, in that instance, Stephen, that's a worse one because it's Norwich. It's an outside London club. That Brentford one, you can probably kind of understand because there might be London scouts, but yeah, the Norwich one's mad. And we've got links with Bromley. It's just that's the sort of thing that gets under my skin more than anything else. Because how do we miss these players? Or it'd be worse if it actually turns out we probably went and watched him at some point and thought he wasn't.
Have you seen our change? Have you seen our fucking training ground? That's the thing you're up against. You're taking a 15-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid there to look at there, or you're taking, you're a 22-year-old up and coming striker and you walk in and see Portakabin buildings when you you possibly go to somewhere else. And
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
lots.
I'm just looking at this article. It says Norwich reportedly beat off
Stephen,
competition.
your microphone's really dodgy. I don't know what you've done to it.
Hello, is that better?
No. Try now.
Is that better?
No.
You sound loads of interference.
Hold on, give me a second.
Interesting comment that came in the one before that, Mickey, about the football operations side and letting Joe Edwards get on it from a coaching perspective. Yeah, I mean, but again, that's even more concerning for me if that is exactly how it is, because what credentials does he have to run the football side? What credentials does he have? Has he got his Continental A license or pro license? I highly doubt it, but he hasn't even got a coaching badge. So I know he's not there to coach, but you still understand the game.
I mean, you could say, like when you look at some of the others, you look at, for instance, like you look at Billy. Billy's been doing that role within the press and everything else for a long time, and managing communication and everything else for a long time, and does a good job of it. And also, he's gone and done a master's and everything else in director of football and football management and all that sort of stuff. Like the back office. And now he's got that position he's got, which is great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's fantastic. But he's got the credentials behind it. I just don't know there's a fellow in Hoff like that, Gazza. I played for Staines. That don't make me. I played for Staines Towns. Does that make me qualified? I doubt it. No. We all know Stats Mickey doesn't make us right for the role. He just sits in the stands in his cheap suits. No, suits look all right, to be fair. So, Mickey, you beat Ted Robb for fan on the board. Ted Robb? Ted, you mean Ted from Lions TV? No, he never went for it, mate. When I got fan on the board, to be fair, it was a bit thingy, but no one else stood against me. In the old MSC, no one else stood against me. So, yeah. Harry's first at Gills was too good to go down. We've finished mid-table.
When we're not, I look, I don't want to be really, really negative and join negative Dan, but I don't think anyone can say that we're too good to go down at the moment because we're not winning enough games of football. And I know we haven't actually come on to this yet, and I don't want to. We've been going a while now, but the screenshot or the image that was used for this show was the form table. We are 24th out of 24 in the home form. If our away form, which over the last couple, we've lost the last two away from home, likely to lose the next one. If we lose the away form, we're not too good to go down. I don't think we can have that mentality because that's when you get caught.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. It was quite weird because I put that stat in the championship group earlier, and the QPR lad piped up and went, "Fuck, we're not bottom." There's a result. Do you know what I mean? Our home ground, we're not bottom. So yeah, Ted used to be my football manager.
That is that they are now starting to pick up points.
Yeah, no, Ted's a good lad. Yeah, no, he's all right. He's a good bloke. I see him occasionally, but yeah, we're in free fall. Wake up, and we're in a relegation battle. Absolutely. But 2 weeks ago, so were Everton. But they're outside of that area now, and there's potential with a couple more wins, and they'll go up the table. And realistically, the way the table is, no, I didn't, you cheeky bastard. And now, realistically, we get a couple of wins, we could jump out of it. So yeah, look at the team we had under Holloway. It was top 6 championship quality, but we went down. Yeah, he did English Lit at University of Cardiff. Who did? Aldo. Is that Sam? Did you go to uni with him then? Pinnock. That's the one.
Yeah, someone said Ethan Pinnock was the chap that went
Yeah, he's the one that was at Brentford. Before, I don't know how much you heard of me, but the wireless headphones was running out. That's why it was a bit dodgy.
Okay.
That fella from Bromley, Norwich beat off competition from Wolves and Brentford. So obviously Brentford were, you can say, are a local, well, more local than Norwich and Wolves. But again, it's a player. He was Bromley's player of the season, supporters player of the season, and their young player of the season last year. And Norwich went and picked him up, so a team in our league. And it's just one of those that, again, we've spoke about this so many times, and I'm sure there's other podcasts that have, and supporters talk about it every season. Our recruitment policy there is we just don't get it right. And there's you hear about all these players that we could have had him, or we've let him go, and we've done this, that, and the other. It just needs to change. And maybe Edwards is the person to do that. I don't know. But if it's Aldo that's pulling the strings, can you really see him rocking up at Dulwich Hamlet and having the bit of, clout to be able to entice, as you say, with the training ground and the facilities above a club like Norwich, like Wolves?
Now with Edwards has got that know-how within the, he listen, Edwards is well known, has to be well known within the league, because lots of people have spoken about, Gary Rowell, he knew Edwards, so-and-so was on the same, Kieran Thingy, is it Kieran, whatever his name was on the same course as him, and so-and-so else was on the same course as him, and, he was out looking at loan players and all that when he was at Chelsea. So, working at Chelsea, he's probably mixed with quite a few people, and a lot of people know him and hope that, they probably have a bit of trust in him. So, it will be, I think he will have more pull than I'll come back to your question in a minute, Mill Holdings, towards the end, all right? One win in 10, worst home form in the league. The foundations are there for the drop. I'm just speaking logically. Hope we don't go down, but doesn't look good. Listen, we've got to look at it like that, because if we don't, we're going to delude ourselves. I think it's one of those where we are in a relegation battle, but it's not over until the last game of the season. Look at Blackpool. Look at Blackburn. I mean, we were fucking 3-0 up at half time thinking we were in the playoffs. And then, it just fucking went the opposite way. Hopefully it don't go that way this year. Essa went to QPR before he signed for the Nigels. Yeah, but there was loads at the time. There was bad attitude. If you speak to people, there was bad attitude, and he wasn't really committed and everything else, and didn't show. He got dropped, and I think sometimes when players get dropped and then they come back, they suddenly realise that their dream's potentially over unless they pull their socks up. Then they suddenly come back. So I think there's probably a lot of that there, and it keeps going on. But there just wasn't, there wasn't the commitment to invest in him, because there was nothing shown back, and I think that's a lot of it. So yeah, I'll come back to you in a minute as well, Chris, on that. Who starts up front? Let's go on there. Absolutely. Right, gents. Wednesday. I want you starting 11s.
Oh. Ben, you can go first.
Oh, Ben needs going first. Yeah. Go on, Ben. Can you, and also those in the comments, put your starting 11s in, please. Put whoever you want, whether or not they're youth, whether or not they're, who. I want you to put your best starting 11 in
or who if you was the manager, who would you pick? Basically, if you was the manager, put your team.
Yep.
So I'm going Sarkic. I'm still want to play 3-5-2. I thought we should have played it Saturday, so I'm going to go back to that. Leonard, Harding, and Coops at centre half. Norton Cuffy, Longman left wing back. Mitchell and Sav in the middle, and then Nisbet and Bradders up top. I missed one out. Got one more. Have I missed one out?
You missed Wallace, didn't you?
No, drop Wallace, playing Longman left wing back.
Oh, okay.
I got one. And then in the 10, we'll put I'll put Honeyman in there. That is never going to be the team, by the way. Ever.
No.
Just to try and freshen it up a bit.
Got it, Stephen. Against my better judgment, I would probably be picking Sarkic again. I think I would go Sarkic. I would stick with the kind of 4-2-3. 4-2-3-1. Leonard at right back, Harding and Cooper, the two centre halves. With me being manager, I would go with. I'd actually probably go. Adam Malachi at left back. I would have Sav and I would actually go Sav and Honeyman in midfield. I think Honeyman could do the job in the centre of midfield, and he got some legs in there as well. Wide right would be Brooke Norton-Cuffy. Wide left would be probably Duncan Watmore. And I say 4-3-2-1 and say we'd have someone in the number 10. I'd actually probably go maybe a little bit more of a 4-4-2. Sorry, Ben, I know you said we've got to come away from it. And I would actually like to see Bradshaw and Nisbet together. Give them an opportunity to play as a two. But I think that, again, that's never going to be the team. We're going to have we're only going to have one striker because we're going to Leicester away.
Yeah, okay. Dan Riggs has said Sarkic, Danny, Cooper, Harding, Leno, Savs, Mitchell, Cuffy, Amaku, Nesbitt, Fleming, sadly. Bobby says Bart, Lenny, Harding, Cooper, Malachi, Coffee, Billy, Savs, Esse, Nesbitt, Amaku. That's not a bad team, to be fair. 4-4-2, Sarkic, Mac, Harding, Cooper, Malachi, Leonard, Saville, Norton, Cuffy, Esse, Nesbitt, and Amaku up front. I'll come back to your message in a minute, Sam. Ipswich of Sam Williams also came from Manchester United. Sarkic, Cooper, Harding, Leonard, Cuffy, Longman, Sav, Honeyman, Watmore, Nesbitt, Bradshaw. That's got a bit of pace in there.
I know why you picked him, Ben, but with this formation with the wing back, and you could probably do that role. Ryan Long. I just can't bring myself to pick him.
He's about the only one who's picked him, because look, Bart, Wallace, Cooper, Harding, Hutch, Danny, Mack, Honeyman, Saville, Cooper, Campbell, Bradshaw. Go on.
I was trying to get Wallace out of the side, I guess, with playing a 3-2.
And with wing backs, Longman probably could do a job as a wing back rather than an actual left back. So it does fit in the team that you picked. But for me, I don't see Longman. I don't know. We were all told how bad he was, and we probably didn't give him we did get on his back early doors, but he's kind of gone the way that Hull fans said it would, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Longman, Campbell, for me, can jog on. Jonathan Fraser says 5-4-1. Bart, Danny, Mack, Harding, Hutch, Coop, Cuffy, Saville, Billy, Fleming, Watmore, Nesbitt, BMC, Esu, and Amaku behind Fleming at striker. Yeah, maybe see him there. So yeah,
that would be radical. That I think. I'm here for it. I am here for it, but that would be Joe Edwards not playing Nisbet or Bradshaw. That would be something.
Yeah, wouldn't it just? But yeah. Right, let's go through some of these comments, what I've starred, and just touch on these before we end, shall we? Did anyone see Neil Harris's comments after the game versus Charlton? Yep, absolutely. And still, they've still not beaten him in so many years, have they? I think he's pretty much, they're not beating us now for over 25 years, I think 26 years. So, too many players underperforming. Totally agree with that. I agree, not his fault in the past. He's past his best, same as Hutchinson and Cooper and Bradshaw past their best. That will upset Ben. How did Campbell get 90 minutes? I've got no idea, mate, but he did. This is one of the ones I said to Vlad, non-football related question. How is Husky chocolate? The only time I've ever tried Husky chocolate was when they were giving it out at the ground. You can't buy it over here either, mate. And there was a big thing in America as well because they sponsor the what do you call it cars over there, the Indy cars, and America was asking the question of who is Husky Chocolate because they couldn't buy it over there. So yeah, what changes do we make? We've gone through those. What do you guys think that the consequences of going down will be? Absolutely dire, but it will give us a chance to rebuild. Yes, gents, agree with that?
Do agree. I didn't know actually. Well, I forgot about the money that's going to be trickled down next year and that increasing. So, yeah, we can't go down.
No.
That is one thing that would be really huge for us as well. And I know we say it all the time, but that little bit of more money. I know other clubs will have it as well, but for a club like us, it's huge.
Yeah. I've never known consistency large crowds at a Den. That won't last long if it's shit football. Totally agree.
It's not shit football, is it? We're trying to change it. We've moaned
No,
about
that's it.
We've moaned about Rowett's shit football, and now we're moaning about a more progressive style and saying that's shit.
No, well, I know. I'm not thinking the same now. I'm thinking that if we're not doing good at home, then the crowds will eventually go down. We're rumoured to be after Craig Horse and Bromley. I think, yeah, some of these we have. Right. No. Other sites can charge. Other sites can make you pay to comment or pay subscriptions or anything else for that. We have no plans for it. Are we going to have any plans for it? Maybe 2 years down the line or anything else? I don't know, but it wouldn't be as a whole. There might be bits what you pay for, but to be fair, the vast majority of it will always be free because what's the point of charging for it? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, there might be something down the line where it says, actually, if you want to help contribute to making the show better or whatever, then yeah. But if you're talking about, is it going to be going into our pocket? No, we don't do it for that. And I think that if as soon as you do that, then we had conversations before. The problem you have then is that you're then just making content for making content's sake. And that's when the quality of the content suddenly disappears. So there's no point there. So yeah, slagging me off in this site Saturday and apparently I'm banned. He thinks I'm 70. He's not far from it though, is he really, Chris? What are you, 68, 69? So in 4 windows time, will it be Edward's Millwall team or Aldo's Millwall team? Got no idea. I think we'll have to wait on that and see what's what. But this last comment from Sam T.
Oh no, it's not.
Which one did you? Oh no, I'll come back to that one in a sec if there's another one there. But this one is brilliant about Aldo. Aldo used to slag off Holloway for not knowing players on Twitter. Must have given a few tips, and Harris took a liking and made him a scout.
There you go.
So, right, where are we? Quickly then, before we're out, don't know, but we'll try and find out. Before we go out, put your score predictions in for Leicester. You've got about 2 minutes before I'm going to switch it off. So get in and off we go. I counted 8 times Billy missed runs to play people through to go sideways. If he wasn't Millwall, he'd be nowhere near. I think you need someone in the side, don't it? Will Premiership clubs lend us their best youth players if we're bottom of the table? What do they and their players get by sending them to a struggling Championship side? Good question.
Well, it'll be more on the coaching. They'll look at Joe Edwards and if they if they know him, and 2, again, will it be our way of playing? That's what they really look for now in clubs.
There you go. Last time Charlton beat us, and we're talking in a competitive game, not a friendly. In a competitive game, Tupac was still alive. Vad, buy some and let us all know. That's about the Husky. I want to know, what does Andy Myers do?
He's assistant manager. Every football club have an assistant manager, or assistant head coach, or whatever you want. So that's his job.
Yeah. Fuck's sake, boys, we ain't going down. No, we're not. 4-2-3-1. Sarkic, Danny Hutch, Cooper, Longman, Sav, Leonard, Amaku, Fleming, Watmore, Nesbitt. if this is progressive style, Ben, you can keep it. Deluded.
That
Not
was the
bad.
comment I saw, and I was like, "Oh boy."
Well,
Not bad though, Ben. That's the first bit of abuse you've got all night. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I would just say as I did. This was the thing that really pissed me off the other day. We moaned about Rowett and his pragmatic style. We wanted to move on. We've had that. We've now got a manager that's young and wants to change it, and we're moaning about that. So
Yeah,
I'd be really interested to see what Born Free, Die Free wants and who he would like in.
Cole, I wouldn't put Sarkic in the same level as George Long. George Long is shit. Yes, Sarkic is injury prone, but I don't know if Bart would have saved that yesterday. Bart's let in some howlers like that before, so yeah. Oh, Chris is only 64, round the waist. I watch but won't pay. I wouldn't charge you. There we go. 2-2. 1-0 or a 5-0 loss. 5-0 loss. Would be happy with a draw, things considered. Loads of people going 1-0 or a 5-0 loss. 3-0 loss if we're lucky. 2-1 to Leicester, I'm afraid. Lions TV. We know what his show's called. We don't have to give him a plug. Didn't hurt Kane. Yeah, no, coming in for loan note. 3-0 defeat. 1-1. Fleming will score on Wednesday. Yeah, you can fucking just see it, can't you? Rest in peace to the man who walked the M4 with headphones on and ended up all over it.
Is that a joke or?
No, I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is.
He was tweeting about it as well.
Oh, no.
There was a massive delay, wasn't there, on the way back from the M4? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Ronaldo 1-0, 86th minute? If he scores in the 86th minute, that'd be a thing, wouldn't it? I think I back Ben. We have to be a bit patient. Chris Brown, can you do a half-time show? 4-1 at Leicester. Chris, what you want to do is get tickets for just underneath, I think it's box 1, the first one next to the away fans. Dan records from there. So if you can get underneath there, you could just go, you could do your half-time show there. You could just switch the laptop round for you. Do you know what I mean? 4-1 Leicester. We just miss him. Okay. People saying we're too good to go down. Remember, Les Dennis has shagged Amanda Holden, so anything is possible. Do you know, right? That's one of the funniest things on Twitter. Whenever she posts something in lingerie and all that lot, and people just check the comments out of all her pictures, right? There is a comment in there somewhere what turns around and says, "Do not worry, however bad your day is or has been, just remember Les Dennis has been there." And if he and literally that means there's anything for anyone. So yeah, we wasted 4 years. We should have kept Harris and let him develop young manager who got us. Now you see your whole argument there, Born Free, Die Free. No. Sorry.
Brought her up again.
No, I did see something about it, but I don't know yet. But if I find anything, I will post it out. If people are okay to share it, I will pass it out. So yeah. All round, Sarkic is way better than Bart. Absolutely agree with that comment. I think Bart's just old now. He was a great keeper, but that's it. Benjamin, final word.
I think we all are, but let's keep backing the manager. We've got to give him time. It's not his players. I think the club in general, we just need to be pulling in the same direction at the minute. Let's just give him all the support we can. We are not too good to go down. We are well and truly in a relegation fight, but sorry, you put me off. Yeah, I'll go 2-1 win Wednesday. Fuck it.
No worries. Stephen?
I have 3 things. First one, and it pains me to do this, an update on that Millwall podcast, Fantasy League. Alex Gidley is first on 933 points. Our very own Ben Green is second on 931 points. and Alfie Irving is third on 916. Please do not let Ben win this fantasy league, because it's not good for anybody if that happens. Us three, I believe, and a couple of other podcast boys will be in Aries after the game next Saturday against Huddersfield. If you want to come and have a chat, feel free to. I don't know really what the plan is, but we will be in there bang on after full time. So come and say hello. And finally, from me for this week, again, who are you? I mention it all the time. We're not that scary. Chris Brown in the chat has actually done it, the interview. If you would like to take part, drop me a message, drop Mickey a message, drop the pod a message, whatever you want to do. We're looking to get a few more recorded and for the new year. So get in contact.
You can email Stephen at stephen@thatmillpodcast.co.uk. Just make sure you spell Stephen correctly, and he will get your emails. That is it for another week. We are back next week. And thanks very much for joining us. And we'll see you all again in a few days' time. No doubt these lads will do a pre-record in the week just to talk about the game in more detail, because we done this.
We were so busy talking shit about bringing the message to the people, we never stopped to bother whether the people gave a shit about the message we were bringing to them.